Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top. Looking for music that lifts your spirit and fills your heart? Experience the powerful sound of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square. Now streaming on all your favorite music platforms. Find the Tabernacle Choir on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, Amazon Music, and Pandora. Let the music of the Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square inspire you today and every day. Whether you're at home, in the car, or on the go, enjoy the beauty of their world-renowned sound anytime. The Tabernacle Choir at Temple Square, streaming now.
We're all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's never a non-spicy day in the NBA. It would
Apparently.
seem, Ben. Yeah, thanks for listening, however you may be doing so over the air, streaming, KSLSports.com, the KSL Sports app. Maybe you were watching the show on YouTube or KSLSports.com, or maybe you're one of our great friends from the future taking in the show via podcast. We appreciate you doing so. Especially on the big news days, because great part about being live and local all day is when the news hits, we're not taking a break to talk about what's the Jets' offseason look like this year.
Yeah.
So that's kind of nice.
Real intel and kind of deep understanding of what's happening.
So let's dive right in.
All right.
Ben, we left the show yesterday with multiple options surrounding Walker Kessler and no idea what the time frame was going to be. Signs an offer sheet somewhere, the Jazz match, the Jazz don't match, and then we did talk about the possibility of a sign and trade.
Correct.
And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. Sign and trade with the Jazz, where the Jazz pick up two unprotected first-round picks in, sorry, Ben, I should have it in front of me, 31 and 33, is that right?
Correct.
And then two draft swaps on the years in between.
28 and 30.
Oh, so
So
not
actually
quite.
before.
Apologize.
Yeah.
Fake news. I'm dying to hear your thoughts. I know you've been going at it on the Talk Snap all day, but what do you think of the outcome for the Jazz, and I'm curious for the Lakers for that matter?
Rare lose-lose trade. The Jazz are worse today than they were yesterday. The Jazz are not better without Walker Kessler. Walker fits particularly well next to Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren has weaknesses to his game. He is not a rebounder. That's probably what Walker's actually best at. I know the 2.4 blocks or whatever is like a nice number. Walker's a very good rebounder. He fixes that problem with Jaren really well. And then if he's your secondary rim protector or shot blocker or whatever next to Jaren, that's really good for Walker also. So you lost that. And he's only 24 years old, so there's some real room to grow, which is why the Jazz were offering him a 5-year deal. The Jazz are worse today. And the Jazz made a trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. to get better, to ideally compete for the playoffs, to ideally hope to start competing this season. And that got a little less likely. I don't think they were competing for a championship this year, but that is less likely that they are competing for a playoff spot this year than it would have been had they had Walker. And in fact, on the flip side of that, the Lakers got better today. The Lakers are one of those 6 best teams in the West now that are going to take one of these playoff spots, and I don't know if that was the case, in all honesty, until they addressed their center position, and it just so happened to come from the Jazz. So the Lakers got better, the Jazz got worse. That's the loss for the Jazz. The loss for the Lakers is that this is not a championship team, and they have no way of making it a championship team, and they've just settled at a pretty good team, and they've used up all their assets to get there, with no real way, I don't think, I could be wrong, but no real way of getting to the highest ceiling in the Western Conference. Like, they are not better than the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're not better than the San Antonio Spurs. They might not be better than a couple of other teams in the West, depending on how the rest of the offseason shakes out. That's really, really weird to me. Mm-hmm. That's a weird thing for your big three to be Luka, who I have said is a legit 1A, Austin Reeves, who's very flawed but good, and Walker Kessler, who's flawed but good. It's a weird big three. In a league that is not really favoring big threes anymore, it's favoring good sevens. 7 really good players versus 3 great players. And the Lakers don't even have 3 great players.
I do agree with your take that the Jazz are not better today as they were yesterday. Not better today than they were yesterday. Excuse me. As much as you and I both think that Jackson Hayes is just
superstar,
just special.
Jazz got a beast.
He's just a special player. But
that's the other piece of news, by the way, if people haven't seen that. The Jazz have signed Jackson Hayes.
2 years, $12 million.
What's the AAV? Do you think it's 6 or do you think it's 12? We think it's 6, right?
The per year? Is that what you're talking about? Per year?
PY.
Per year? I don't know. Nor do I care. They have a team. Next year is a team option, so it's really a 1 year type of deal. Mm-hmm. So I am not arguing with that. We'll see what else they do before I make some pronouncement about whether or not they will make the playoffs. All the points you make I think are relevant. But I was using a comparison with Christian before the show because I honestly, and I think it's brilliant. And I'm not trying to honk out here. Okay. I think it's brilliant.
I'm curious to hear.
Keep in mind that the Jazz were not coming into this situation. It was not ideal. Having Walker hit free agency as a restricted free agent was not ideal. Ideal was he got wrapped up with a team-friendly deal last year before any of this water went under the bridge. But it did. Mm-hmm. And we don't know what the Jazz were talking to him about last year. We have no idea. We had this debate yesterday. Mistake, not a mistake. I don't really know. But they were not in the ideal position for the Utah Jazz. They did, however, have the upper hand because of the rules, because they can match anything. Uh-huh. So the Lakers, as we know, are desperate, and I think Rob Pelinka might be a little dim, and we can get to other evidence of that.
There's only 10 years of that evidence
coming up. Yeah,
including Anthony Davis openly mocking him today on social media.
Oh, did he really?
Uh-huh.
I did not see that.
Yeah.
But Ben, Christian drives a fine car.
Mm-hmm. It's funny you're about to use a car metaphor. I use the same one on my podcast, so let's hear it.
Christian drives a fine car. I wouldn't call it advantageous, but it's fine.
Uh-huh.
If somebody pulled up to Christian on the street and said, "I'll give you $20,000 for that car right now,"
this is the exact metaphor I use. This is great.
And Christian goes, "Well, yeah."
Sure.
And the guy goes, "You're going to have to take the bus home or something." Christian's going to say, "Well, yeah, give me the $20,000."
Okay.
Hand it over. Yeah, I'll get a bus pass. I'll call my wife. I don't care. It's going to take some time for you to go find a different guy. Yeah. Just give me the $20,000 and I'll figure out the rest. For the Lakers to pay 2 first-rounders unprotected and 2 swaps for a guy that they had to for the pleasure of overpaying a player.
For going over market for a player.
For the pleasure of overpaying a player is laughable. So the Jazz are a little better off or worse on paper as a roster. Check. But did they overpay the wrong guy?
No.
No, they did not.
Which we have learned today is maybe the single worst thing you can do in the NBA.
By overpaying the wrong guy. And they did not. Now, the Jazz probably, I'm guessing, offered what they were comfortable offering, or probably pretty close in the 28-29. And honestly, probably didn't want to go much higher. That said, Ben, you wonder why you look at the number. You look at it, you go 32.5 AAV.
I love adding a new bit.
I mean, come on, that's so little. It's so little. Think about this. Think about how do you get that? How do you get the dude to offer you $20,000 for your Mazda? How do you get that? If you tell the Lakers, listen, you can get your guy, and it can cost you $41 million. It can cost you $38 million. It can cost you $39 million. We'll lower our bar.
Yeah.
We'll lower our matching bar
Correct.
But you've got to make it worth the while. So the Jazz number was probably 28-29 with what they were comfortable. Lord knows what they were willing to go up to. Like if push came to shove,
Yes.
what they were willing to. But if the Lakers give them a sweetheart deal, they'll lower their number, sign Walker for 32.5, which is still way too much, and give us the haul. How do you get the guy with the 20 grand to pull over? You got to make it attractive. And I guarantee that's the leverage that they played. Listen, we'll match up to 39. Good luck. Keep going up. We'll come down if you want to do a sign and trade, and we'll take all those picks. I think it's honestly brilliant in a way, too, that Walker, the center position, now it might not seem like it now, but is more replaceable than other positions, to find a rim protector and a rebounder, maybe not immediately, but you can go and find one of those. And that was the other part of the leverage, Ben. One of these two teams was going to go into a season without a center. One of these two teams was going to bite the bullet and go into this season basically without a center. And the Jazz have more stomach for the game than the Lakers do. They weren't going to let Luka down and go into this season without a center. They weren't going to do it. The Jazz, yeah, whatever. We're starting to turn the corner. People will understand. We'll plug something in at the center at some point. They just played an entire season intentionally not having a center. I mean, who can have a little short-term pain tolerance for the long-term value? I mean, I really do. I like everything about this deal. Compared to losing Wes Matthews for nothing, restricted free agent losing for nothing, I don't know. I saw some negative feedback on the talk snap. I didn't get it. And I'm not even disagreeing with you because all the things you said about Walker are true. They are not as good today as they would have been if Walker Kessler was still on the team. I don't think that's doubtable. And you know what? Cheer for Walker. Hope he turns into a guy. Good luck. I hope he lives up to the contract. I really do, because it would suck not to. But you can't. Walker, he could be a stiff in 2 years, or he could be really good. There is no decided there. If he turns into a stiff, we're going to be looking back on today like, dude, they got 4 firsts basically for that guy.
The only thing I would change about what you said is there were 3 teams. It wasn't just the Jazz and the Lakers. It was also the Pistons. Let's just mix them into this group.
But
there was 2 centers and 3 teams. And who had the stomach to not have a center next year? It can't be the team that has Luka, and it can't be the team that just had the best record in the Eastern Conference.
Yep,
it can't be.
Nope.
It leaves the Jazz.
And he's close to a max player, so you could justify matching a max contract because he's more like Gordon Hayward, where it's like, yeah, he could be a max dude.
So
he
that's
was an all-star.
That's the only thing I would change about what you said.
I don't know how. Okay, I don't know how much I consider the Pistons because I don't think there's any way Duren leaves.
Very possible. Well, to the exact same point of what the Jazz said. Exactly right. The Pistons said, there's not a number we won't match at. And the Jazz said, there's not a number we won't match at. But do you have any trade offers? And I don't know if the Pistons ever said, but do you have any trade offers? And the Jazz did.
See, I mean, I love the messaging side of it, but I do think there was a number the Jazz would have just let him go.
And maybe the Lakers decided, we would rather have Walker at $32 million minus 2 draft picks than Walker at $40 million with 2 draft picks. Simple. I mean, that was probably the gamble the Lakers made and the same gamble the Jazz made. We would rather lose Walker at that number with 2 draft picks and swaps versus have Walker at $39 million. I mean, that was right. That's the deal. I mean, essentially, that was the agreement that the two sides made. And I think you're right. I bet you there was a huge offer that was higher than the $32 million that nobody really wanted to sign.
Right.
Everyone was happier to sign $32 million, and the Jazz were happy to get their picks back. Yeah, you're exactly right on that front.
I don't think Detroit is willing to lose Duren. I think the Jazz were willing to lose Walker, and that's why the Lakers.
That's why this is where we are today.
That's why they focus their attention, because they can get Walker. I don't think they can get Jalen. And as you pointed out yesterday, the timing is such that they had to pick one. There was no going after both. They had to pick one.
Now, clearly, it's not that easy to replace Walker Kessler, because if it was, the Lakers wouldn't have done everything they did to get Walker Kessler.
Well, the Jazz play a little differently, which makes that position different. But
you're right.
I understand what you're saying.
However, if I were to come to you, Jake, and say $32 million, 2 unprotected first-round picks, and 2 swaps in a trade, what would you imagine a team was getting back? It's not Walker Kessler.
No.
I mean, that's That's a blockbuster.
Yeah, in a market where trade values have been plummeting.
Right.
Since Mikal Bridges moved from the Nets to the Knicks, trade values have been plummeting, which is why Walker was honestly still on the roster.
The Jazz gave up 2 unprotected picks for Jaren Jackson Jr. It's their own pick this year. Now the rule has since changed that can only be that can only be the 6th overall pick. So that actually hurt.
It's not going to be that
Memphis
anyway.
a little bit, and it's not going to be that pick anyways. I don't think, but it's basically now a top 5 protected pick to Memphis. The Suns unprotected first, which is a big asset in 2031 that the Jazz had acquired. That's a big piece. And then it's the Lakers' top 4 protected pick coming up this year. So the Jazz included 3 picks. 2 of them at the time were unprotected. Now it's really only 1 fully unprotected. The Jazz get that back. Jazz took on more money in salary than the Lakers did in Walker. You know, Jaren makes 45, Walker makes 32. Jazz also gave up a rookie in Walt Clayton, who was a first-round pick, and a former lottery pick in Taylor Hendricks. Like, the Jazz put together a really big package for Jaren Jackson Jr. I think they got back a little bit less in Walker, but like the gap between Walker as a player and Jaren as a player was seismic.
Yeah. Well, nor do they play the same position.
No, they don't.
And,
but quality of player is pretty seismic.
Oh, yeah, Jaren's way better.
And the Jazz gave up a
mile.
little bit more in the Walker trade to get or in the Jaren trade to get a lot more than Walker.
No, I think these are the type of savvy moves that you can't pass up on. And you may really love the player, but you can't predict the future.
Insurance isn't one size fits all. That's why drivers have enjoyed Progressive's Name Your Price tool for years now. With the Name Your Price tool, you tell them what you want to pay, and they'll show you options that fit your budget. So whether you're picking out your first policy or just looking for something that works better for you and your family, they make it easy to see your options. Visit Progressive.com. Find a rate that works for you with the Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Price and coverage match limited by state law.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast. An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's the car metaphor that you brought up, and I've told you the best piece of advice I've ever gotten in my life was from a random dude in line at AutoZone. And I was driving a Toyota Matrix at the time. And a guy behind me in line said, "Is that your Matrix?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Is your car for sale?" I said, "No." End of conversation. After I check out, another guy comes up to me and says, "Dude, your car's always for sale." I said, "What?" He said, "Your car is always..." You didn't ask him how much he wanted to sell you the car for. To your point, Christian drives a Maserati, not a Maserati. If someone's offering him $20K for the Maserati, it makes getting to work tomorrow harder. But he has $20,000 to solve that
he's
problem.
Gonna figure it out.
He can buy a lot of bus passes and then replace it with a better car.
Some mild inconvenience.
The Jazz
in the
sold
short
the
term.
Maserati for $20,000 today.
And
that's exactly what happened.
And didn't trap themselves into a bad deal, honestly. I mean, the risk that you were going to have to purge talent to eventually make that contract fit or trade Kessler anyway was extremely high. So, I mean...
I don't know if I had said this on the air. I can't remember all the things I've said versus what I've thought because I'm not that intelligent of a person. If the Jazz had paid Walker $30 million and are going to pay Keontae George $30 million, the clock was ticking on how long either Lauri Markkanen or Jaren Jackson Jr. was going to be in Utah.
Right.
The clock that you had flipped the little sand timer, the hourglass. You flipped it, and it was running out. You don't flip anything now. It's easier to keep Keontae. It's way easier to keep Keontae. In fact, I'm curious if they try and
It'll
get a
be
deal
easier
down
to
this
keep
summer.
Ace, too, when the time comes.
And way easier to keep Lauri and Jaren. But you do have to find a center that can come in and replace some of what Walker gave you. Not all of it, probably, but some of it at a lower price. And that's got to be the goal now.
For now.
For now.
And
who
who knows how long for now is even. I mean, I think Did you jump on with one of the shows earlier? Did you mention Miles Turner? I mean, something like that could easily happen.
Oh, like that? If the Cavs start out 14-14 this year, or 18-12, and are the fourth best team in the Eastern Conference, and say Evan Mobley and Jared Allen just aren't working, we got to split it up. Jazz say, "Do you want a future unprotected Lakers pick and some money?"
Because we like Jared Allen.
Because we like Jared Allen, and we actually need that guy really badly. Yeah. And then you are still ideally plus a draft pick from the Lakers and have a commensurate player.
Jared Allen at $20 million.
Correct. Like
that's pretty good.
This is a terrible market to be buying a center. One of the worst I've ever seen.
But honestly, and I know Jazz fans are dying to be competitive, but this does not change the direction. The Jazz are not going to all of a sudden start booting games again because they're so forlorn. This is just a little interruption. They have to figure out a different direction at one particular position. So, and they weren't in that advantageous of position to begin with. So yesterday they were being held hostage by their center, who was a restricted free agent. Today, that problem is over. They have a bunch of extra assets in their pocket, and now they're figuring out how to replace them in the short and long term. I mean, that's the game in the NBA. This is the game.
Correct. And another thing that's available to the Jazz now that was not yesterday is, like, we were just talking about, like, $32 million plus 2 unprotected picks plus pick swaps is what the Jazz got for Walker. It's a lot. It's a lot that the Jazz got.
People are really valuing those swaps too these days.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's no protections on them. That's where the real value is for the Jazz. Like, what the Jazz also have now that they didn't have yesterday is, like, there's a package you could put together that is Lowry Markkanen and 2 protected on first. Like, what player in the NBA can't you get for Lowry Markkanen and 2 future unprotected firsts in the 2030s that aren't your own picks? Like, that's the, like, galaxy brain move now for the Jazz that is available today that I'm not betting on them making, but is available to them to make when the next superstar becomes available. That's now at the Jazz's disposal without dipping into their asset treasure trove or being at a negative asset count. They have 10 first-round draft picks between now and 2033. That's plus 3, if you go year by year, plus control over all their own except for next year. So Jazz are in a really good spot still to continue to build the team, even if today I think they're a worse basketball team than they were yesterday.
Yeah, that's the thing. You're willing to take the bus home? You're willing to go into the year without a center? For that? Sure.
But don't die with money.
Well, we'll see, because criticism of Danny Ainge, and Austin is not Danny, of course, was that he held on to all those assets that he got in Boston for too long, right? There were players like Jimmy Butler who were available, and he kind of didn't pony up what he could have, right?
Correct.
So, yeah, that's the delicate line.
Yes, absolutely.
That's the delicate dance that you have. But I'm telling you, what you don't want to do is overpay for a guy. You don't want to sign a contract that you're going to regret 6 months later. And that might be what happens with Walker. Again, I'm cheering for him. I hope everybody's talking about what a great value it is.
But if you tell me he's more Jakob Poeltl,
right,
than he is... Who's the center that's not Jokic, that's not Wemby, that's not Joel Embiid? That's like the 7th best center in the NBA.
Rudy.
Great pick. Great choice. If he's more Poeltl than Rudy, this is one of the worst trades in NBA history.
Yeah. And there's a chance he's Poeltl.
Yeah. There's a chance he ends up being Rudy. Playing next to Luka, he might be. Luka makes centers better. No
offensively, that's for sure.
That's for sure. He's got a lot of pressure on his shoulder, though, to fix that defense in L.A.
Well, yeah, because they can't sign anybody else. And if you want to talk about, here's my metaphor for what the Lakers did when they finally got LeBron off their team and got a little financial flexibility. I'm imagining what your average naval midshipman, I don't know, what happens when you hit port in Indonesia after being at sail for 8 months. Like, I just imagine what that next morning is going to be like, or would be like. That's Pelinka's tomorrow.
Yes.
After all this shotgun spending every penny in a dang day, LeBron comes off the roster, and they spend every nickel in the first day, which is pretty wild. and bring in a bunch of average players, and I don't know if it's going to work. That's the problem when you pay 3 players everything.
$150 million.
That's what you get. I mean, you want to. So LeBron won 2 championships in Miami, one at the beginning and one at the end. Lost the one at the beginning and the one at the end. He was in the finals all 4 years.
Yeah.
The 4th year, they ran up against just a superior San Antonio team who was really bent how they lost in the finals the year before. Do you remember who they lost to in year 1? Dallas, who was not the best NBA champion of all time. Let me just put it that way. Fine team, but far from a dominant team, right? Why did the Heatles lose? They paid LeBron and Bosh and D. Wade every nickel they could because they had to sign and trade for Bosh, but they signed LeBron outright. So they had no money left and had traded basically everything to get under the cap enough to get LeBron. Think the Super Cool Bees trade. They had, again, former Jazz man Carlos Arroyo was their starting point guard. I mean, they had nothing.
Correct.
Now, as it went forward, they could make a trade and go over the cap. They pick up Ray Allen. They signed vet minimum guys that actually helped them, like the Birdman, and they were able to build upon it. But that first year, you can't because you just spent all your room and everything on everybody
all
else.
Your flexibility.
And now the Lakers really can't do anything to make their roster better in the short term, and arguably in the long term by spending every pick you got. That's probably not great, but you know what I mean? The Lakers get a little, they're like, I got to town, I got a little money in my pocket, bam, let's make this happen.
How do you get off of bad contracts in the NBA?
You have to package picks.
Do the Lakers have picks?
They do not.
Is there a chance they have a bad contract? Either Walker's or Austin AJ. By the way.
Or Lucas for that matter.
Or Lucas. And here's the thing. Bad contracts don't mean bad players. It means the wrong player paid the wrong money. It doesn't mean Walker's a bad player or Austin Reeves is a bad player. I might have said Austin Age. Austin Reeves is a bad player. But if he's the wrong player, then you have to find a way to move him or get off him. Now, I think you can probably move Austin Reeves, probably.
Well, let me amend that. It's not even necessarily the wrong player. It's the wrong player at the wrong price.
Exactly.
Like Austin Reeves, I don't think is the wrong player, probably for any team with his game, although he does stink at defense. But at, what's he at, 50?
He's at 45 or something.
$45 million? There's a chance he's the wrong guy. Like, oh man, I don't think Rusty Westbrook has ever been the right guy. Bradley Beal could be the right guy for a lot of different situations. Bradley Beal on the Supermax? Nope.
Wrong guy.
Wrong guy.
Right.
Wrong guy. So it's the wrong guy at the wrong price, right guy at the wrong price. Any guy at the wrong price is going to screw you. Yeah. And that actually has been true for a long time and is even more true now with the second apron and first apron and all that punitive stuff. So is there a chance that Walker Kessler is the wrong guy at the wrong price? Yep. Big time.
Big time.
And he's not even that great of a rim roller either, by the way, which is what Luka wants. So we'll see. And he can't shoot free throws. And maybe he fixed that. I don't know. Great rebounder, though.
He does some things really well.
He gets pushed around. He's good at blocking shots for sure. Has great timing, like really natural on
both
that
hands,
on that front.
Does some stuff really well.
Once he figured out how to eat elbows, he turned into a really great rebounder. Mm-hmm. But is he the number 3 on the title team? Nope.
Jazz certainly didn't think so.
Well, not at that price.
Correct.
Not at that price.
Correct.
I believe the 28 to 29. I believe that number. I believe that's probably where the Jazz were comfortable going.
Yeah.
I believe they told the Lakers they'll go wherever. And then they bargained and got a great deal, which, fine. The Jazz want to, I hate it, Ben, hate it so much. Open the window, right?
Yeah.
They want to open a window for some time to come. Doesn't need to shut immediately because you paid the wrong guy.
Right.
Like Milwaukee, shut immediately because they made a trade for the wrong guy.
Yep. Close the window before it opens.
All right. Top 3 stories, KSLSports.com. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
Queen Carvania stood haloed by the morning sun. An army hung on her every word.
My champions, I have sold my chariot on Carvana. 'Twas a lovely SUV, an inexplicably queenly offer. They're even coming to the castle to collect it. Tonight, we feast! An offer you can feast on. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.